1. Good morning, everyone. This is Splash, and your host of the Blue Collar Tribe podcast. I hope you all are having a kick-ass motherfucking day. I'm excited about today's guest, but before I get to the guest, let's get to the bills. Let's pay the sponsors. Let's show them that we love them. Here is.
Attention, Tribers. Plant-Powered Marketing is your cutting-edge marketing agency specializing in SEO, Google My Business, website development, and many other strategies that get you ranked #1 on Google. We're your go-to marketing agency for businesses who want to see real, tangible results from their online presence. Our team of experts has years of experience in getting businesses to the top of Google and generating leads through effective online marketing campaigns. Remember to let us build your next website. Contact us if you want to outrank the competition. Plant-Powered Marketing, 971-570-0511 or plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com.
All right, Tribers. Hey, this is a special edition of the podcast. This is part of the National Hardware Show. Some of the tools that I made friendships with there, tools that I saw fucking value in, and just in general, men and women who have the cojones to create something, to listen to some people bash on it or not understand the value of it. How are you doing today, Mark?
I am damn good.
That's good to hear.
Happy to be here. Happy to see you again, my man.
Yeah, it's nice to see your face. As you can tell, I'm wearing the Gridlock Table. You are the creator, the inventor of the Gridlock Table. I've been using this table for some time. It's really changed the way that my shop inside my house was. I can only imagine if I were out on a job site, how functional this table would have been. But for the listeners, let's backtrack a little bit. I go to the National Hardware Show. I love those shows. There's a lot of new inventions. You were in the new invention area. You were actually the booth across the booth from my very dear friend, Andy, the owner of Stinger Paintbrushes. And he kept telling me, hey, you got to go see that table because he's a contractor. And most people don't know that the owner, most inventors are contractors. Oh, shocking.
And he was a contractor with all, he was one with all the pastels and all
that.
Yeah, that dude dresses, he's on fly. He was like a Miami Vice from the 80s, man.
Dude, I'll talk shit about Andy because he's a good friend of mine. So we go out the first night there and we go into this restaurant and it's fucking fancy. First off, if you ever see Splash, if you ever see me in dress shoes, you know that my wife is about 10 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm dressed up, something big is going down. So we go to he's like, hey, come over to the MGM. This is when we were at National Hardware Show. He's like, hey, come over to the MGM. I'm like, okay, cool. So what do I wear? I wear some old Nike shoes because they're comfortable as fuck. Some Nike jogger pants that I have the pants pulled up to my knees because I think I have sexy legs.
Okay.
I'm wearing a hoodie and a baseball shirt.
So you just want to get kicked out. You just want to be
hat. Yeah, like
want to be taken. Sorry, you don't. No dress code. I mean, we have a dress code.
Yeah, I'm not going. So we go down.
We're hitting your wiener schnitzel. You're not dressed for this, pal.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So we're sitting down there, and he's like, "Hey, smartass." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Do you notice that you're the most underdressed human being in this whole fucking casino, not just this restaurant?" So I looked around. I'm like, "Well, that dude has a hat on." He's like, "No, his hat says that he's business professional, but he doesn't want to. He wants to hide his bald spot." I'm like,
usually a golfing hat, right? Like
yeah, exactly. That's what it was. He's like, "You got to dress for the occasions, Splash." And I love Andy to death, but he gives me a hard time about it. I'm like, "Listen, man, I don't dress up. It's just not my jam. I did it for so many, because trust me, if I dress up, you're going to be putting your family away. Like, wow, GQ. Like, I can dress with the best of them, but I just don't like it. It's not a thing."
So your wedding, you were wearing like cargo shorts and a tank top.
No, for my wedding,
Hey,
my
it's
wife.
really hot. It's really hot. Just
For
wait.
my wedding, my wife and I were actually wearing Nike Air Force Max tennis shoes.
Oh, that's cool.
She had a dress on, and she's like, just wear this shirt and tie for like 10 minutes. I'm like, you better ravish me afterwards. So I'm
Is
just
it
not a,
flip on?
yeah. I don't even know how to tie a tie. Those things
Is that this
tie.
long?
I thought they all just clipped on and tucked in your shirt. Yeah, I'm not a big dresser upper. Like, it's not to say that I won't, but like, I get invited to speak at conventions. And when I speak at these things, I actually have to tell the host, like, hey, I'm not going to dress up. And the answer is always this: well, can you come in a collared shirt? And I tell them no, because this is why. When these people meet me on social media, you're going to get that in life. Like, if you meet me in person, I feel very much like I'm authentic to who Splash is in the real world and in the meta world. Even though Splash is a character, let's be real, but it is what it is. So, the National Hardware Show, I saw your table. Your booth was actually relatively busy. The first day was weird because everyone tries to hit everyone, but like come day 2 and 3, you were fucking packed. I'm actually shocked you didn't lose your voice day 2. You kind of did. That's why I said that. But you have such an interesting tool.
I'm going to take that quote right there and maybe take you to court on that. I'm not sure, but thank you.
Can't. No, but it is, because
no one's ever told me I had an interesting tool.
No, you do though. Like, I don't want to say no, like, but you do. You have a tool. You have a tool that you saw need, and we'll get into the history of it. But let's lay it out so people know. You have a tool. I like to call it a workbench because that's what my dad called it. He's like, hey, roll the workbench out. And I knew what that meant. He was getting ready to put his chop saw on top of it, his skill saw. He had one of those. I'm really novice at this because I'm not a woodworker, but he had this. He called it the Smitty. Maybe that's because our last name is Smith, but it was at least 7 feet long, and his like table, like saw moved on these two metal beams. He called it the Smith or something. Like,
it's a lathe, isn't it? It has a lathe in it.
I have no fucking idea.
Spin it and make dolls. The old
Smitty
thing?
Yeah, he could do. Yep, he could do anything on it.
It's like 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, fucking massive. Where's my beer at? So
I've been up for 24 hours, so this is a late night for me.
It's 4 o'clock somewhere, whatever that song is.
Yeah, right.
So when I saw your workbench, I'm going to refer to it's a table. When I saw your table, I was like, oh, that's really cool. So you had casters on it. But the thing that made it interesting and unique, or just way different than other things, is I could change my workstation within seconds. So I'm like, all right, I need one. Got one from you guys. Started using it. I was like, oh my fuck. This table really is changing my shop. So what it is you've ultimately created I don't know the full dimensions, but I can fit a sheet of plywood on it.
3x5 for conversation.
Yeah. So it's a 3x5. I can put a 4x8 sheet of plywood on it. I can put my chop saw on it. I can put my miter saw on it. I can put my sanders on it. I can hang my if I want to spray cabinets, I can spray cabinets. I can hang cabinets if I want to dry. Then, not like you would think you're done by that, Mark. So I wonder how your brain works. You put risers in them.
My wife does too.
You have these fucking pegs that change the level of what you're doing it on. Now, I know as an inventor, we've talked behind the scenes about your product. I know that you're like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I also know that blue collar men and women, when we get a tool, we're really going to put it to the durability test. Yeah. And I've been doing that. And I'm like, wow, there's not anything I can't do with this table in my shop. The great thing about it is I can put on casters, which mine aren't. I do them when I have it. When I'm doing a full day, I will, but I don't have a full shop that I can just leave my table up. So if you don't have that space, like I don't, you can collapse it. The legs fold up. It's really, really light. My daughter, who's 12 years old, I said, hey, come lift this up. Show me. And I love her to death, but she's not that strong. But she lifted it up with ease. She's like, oh, it's really light. I'm like, okay, well, don't mess around with it. But you thought of everything.
Yeah.
So thank you for that as a craftsman. Like, that's awesome. But like, where did this concept come from? What job fucked you up that you're like, I'm done. I need to make this tool? Because every tool has the story. And I know there has to be some story, which I've never, you wanted to tell me, but I'm like, don't tell me. I want to save it for the podcast. Like, I don't know what you did. Like, what happened in your life to be like, okay, this is a fucking need and I'm going to fucking do it?
Well, my father was really mean to me. And I was born. When I was a child, I just wanted a hammer.
This one time at band camp, I couldn't blow her flue, and
I actually did leave his hammer out in the rain. My God, it was like I'd cut his leg off or something. Look out in the rain! It's my freaking hammer.
You didn't have a Martinez hammer, did you? I got rusted as shit.
His tools sucked, man. They're all, his old pegboard was all traced out. I'm like, you got 9 tools here. It's taking up a 3 by 8 foot wall. But I digress. So what happened was, I've been a builder all my life. Ever since I was a kid, if you're a builder, you're a builder. You're a maker, go-karts, whatever the hell it is. It's always making stuff. And I really gravitated towards construction. Carpentry. And I was building cabinets and everything to tree forts to cabinetry before I don't tell most people this, but I guess I'm outing myself. I was an actor, and I became an actor, and I was pretty successful at it. And I was really successful for about 5 years. And then I wasn't building anything except things around my house. And then some guy just decided to let me know he didn't like how long my hair was. And, I was a pretty boy actor that just did stupid things, right? Jump in and out of cars and go, yeah, cool. And get paid a shitload of money.
Nothing wrong with that.
Zero right. But it was honestly my dad said, if you keep doing this, you're going to be the most boring human being in the world, because you're just hanging around repeating lines and making way too much money, and perhaps wasting my time just drinking in my trailer going, well, whatever. So anyway, this guy's skinhead just picked up a brick and slammed me in the face and broke my skull above my teeth, knocked out my teeth, 58 stitches. Damn. And within 3 weeks, man, the fiance left me. I lost the house. Cats ran away. Car got totaled. Everything just went down the tubes. So it was get my tools out, and I started building. Friends helped me out, and I started building display furniture downtown LA at the Clothing Mart, which was cool. Should always make sure you measure the elevator before you make something, because the first ones I made didn't fit in the freaking elevator. So that was a good story. I actually got wedged in the doorway, and we shut down half the building for about 4 hours so we could rip it out and take it home and just cut it down. But so then I got into construction out of not really what I wanted to do, but I had to do it. And the thing was, I live in Santa Monica. The beach is 6 blocks away. I got this killer rent control apartment here. I've been here since I was a kid, but there's no space here. I've never had a shop. I've never had a garage. I never, when I see people with these beautiful, like Norm from this old house, I wrote him a letter once. He's making this Chippendales thing, and he's got, like 3,000 square feet and 150 clamps. I'm like, well, who the hell has that? And if I did, I wouldn't be watching your show. I'm the guy that's throwing everything in my truck, and I'm going to these job sites. Was never out of work for 15 years. I never had a business card. It was just word of mouth, because I'm a real perfectionist, and I got a guilty conscience, man. Even if I didn't do something wrong, I think I did, or it's my responsibility. I mean, I literally had drizzle once. I remember in the hills of Hollywood, and I was doing Brad Pitt's house. Name dropping. He didn't know it.
Name dropping. Look at this.
Yeah, but I was subcontracting through another person. But I literally went out there at 3 a.m. with tarps and was climbing on the roof because I was so paranoid some water would come in. That's just the kind of person I am. So I was always packing up my tools at the end of the day and then putting in a little storage box, or leaving them on the job site, which, if it's a long job, okay, and they lock it up, you're all right. But still, there was the element of somebody taking your stuff. But the other thing was, when you're on a job site, I eventually moved into ADA work. So I was adapting houses for, the disabled. Staircases, widening door frames, all this remodeling work that is really tricky. You don't know what you're doing. Like you can't even do a good estimate because you don't know what you're going to run into. If you got an old Craftsman house, you don't know what the framework looks like or the electrical or whatever. So inevitably you'd be on the side and going, man, if I just had a drill press, if I just had, if I could just shave this down with a planer, if I just had some of these basic tools, I could handle these things right here on the job site. And so that was always in the back of my head. So one morning I'm sitting with my kids, 2 a.m, as the little 2-year-olds are, watching this old house or some show. And these guys are they got their construction hats on, they're wearing safety goggles, and the guy's throwing down a 4x8 sheet of ply on the ground. And he's crawling with the 2x4s, crawling.
I've seen that episode.
I'm like,
and Bob Vila's just standing over him like, hey.
Why are you crawling on the ground? It's that old line, I'd rather die on my feet than keep living on my knees.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are we crawling on the ground to cut sheets? This is absurd. And then people say, well, sawhorses. Sawhorses are legs. Go to IKEA. They sell them for legs to a desk. They're not a tool. They're not even a workbench. They're literally just legs. And whatever you want to do to it, you can do it. So back to what I was saying, I'm hanging out with my kids, playing with these giant Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had laid them out, and I realized that I basically created the green base of what Legos is. It's the foundation. And that's when I found the pathways to cut everything. So the first table was just a cutting table where you could throw down big material and cut through it.
So you have a channel. You created that channel within the table, but you weren't cut. Like, again, I've owned saw ponies. I'm guilty.
Yeah, I did too.
Are they called sawhorses or saw ponies? I never understood where that fucking came from.
I was thinking that the other day. I mean, they're called sawhorses. You said saw ponies, and I thought that was cute. I don't know where that came from, but they're great. This isn't replacing those. I have those. I throw all my material. If I've got 9 sheets of 3/4 ply, I put it on, sawhorses with 2x4s, and that's where you store stuff.
I wonder if yours are bigger because yours are called sawhorses and mine are saw ponies. But on my saw ponies, I use them.
Back to that comment you said earlier about I have a great tool or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I use mine so when I paint cabinets.
Yeah.
My method, I own a dry rack. Now, for anyone that's ever painted cabinets, the struggle. I own a dry rack. However, the companies that make dry racks sell them for like $1,200.
Yep.
But they make them that there's just enough that you have 7 cabinets left over that don't fit in that dry rack.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers trying to make us buy 2, which is whatever.
Yep.
So we have I go get 12 feet 2x4s and put them in between the channels of the actual saw pony.
Yeah.
And then I duct tape the wood. Let me make sure to explain this right. So no one fuck Splash, you're doing it wrong. Like I duct tape the wood. I gently lay the tables down, then they dry, and I actually put a plastic barrier around it. So so it's all, done. Make sure my humidor and my cigars are in there so it dries just right. So saw ponies are really good, but the Lego, I'm going to be real with you, Mark. I see millions of tools. I get a lot of tools.
Yeah.
When I saw yours, I did think of Legos, but when I saw you demonstrating at the NHS, I was like, wow. So I can actually cut in the groove, not worrying about the depth, because if you don't know about wood and cutting, maybe stay away or go watch some more YouTube videos. But if you know how to cut right, it's just you're done. It does look Lego-ish, but
yeah,
we've all played with Legos and Lincoln Logs. Certain things just make certain sense. This makes a full dollar. It makes that full dollar. It makes 100% sense.
Thank you. I mean, the original table I designed was just a cutting table. And then all these contractors came up to me and said, this. I had 38 different, not 30, I don't know, who cares? I had all these different changes, and I realized I didn't have complete symmetry. And that's when I came out with the adapter plate. And suddenly, Legos was originally just square blocks you make a house. Yeah. Now they're using it at MIT for doing robotics because there's all these different places, but it still comes from the same base. So once I came up with, and look, I got one here.
Oh, you do. I
see
love those.
Stash.
That's the adapter plate.
It's always on my desk. Once I came up with this, I realized now I can take any bench mounted tool that uses all that stupid cabinet space. Like I had a router table and it's sitting on the ground, and I used it maybe, you know, once every 3 months, but it's taking up all this space. And then if I have there's good portable miter saw, you know, stands, and I have a couple of those, but I don't want to drag it to a job site. The main thing is like drill press. You got a drill press, it's sitting on a huge stand, or you get a bench mounted one, it's got a cabinet on it. Like, why do I need all this crap around if I'm not using it? It's going to end up with your laundry on it. It's going to end up with all your Christmas crap on it. And the minute you say, oh, I got to go out and do a job, or I want to build a doghouse for my wife or whatever, you're going to open
Usually
your
the
garage.
doghouse is for you, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
You must have a great marriage, but if a man's building a doghouse, it's for himself. Sorry to bust your balls on that, but if your wife asks you to build a doghouse, it's not for the dog.
I got to make a note, call divorce attorney.
But
you know, when they have a project, your shit's buried.
Yeah.
You don't need that. If you're the guy with a full shop, I'm not your dude. This is for everybody else that, you know, has occasional projects, or you're the guy that works on job sites, or you pull your stuff out in the driveway. I could set up a full shop in the driveway in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I did all the cabinet work for the condo that I rent, all of it in the carport. Every day I went there and I got it done in 3 days. I did all the cabinetry work and I put it in my truck and went home. So it's a way of setting up a full shop anywhere. But the adapter plate also allows you to create whatever the hell you want. I got a guy up in Connecticut who's making kayaks. So he takes the adapter plates and he puts his jigs on them and he lays them on the table. And that's what he uses to build his kayaks. I got his priest up in Maine who's doing stained glass windows, and he used it as, you know, he saw fit, and he showed me a picture. It's pretty outrageous, but you know, it's wherever your mind takes you. That's why I'm here for construction, but the maker's world, the robotics, whatever you need, you look at this product and say, and I keep saying product, by the way, it's a foundation to build on. Is it a tool? I don't know. Technically not. Is it a workbench? Not what workbenches are today.
It's a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah. But it's not a workbench, when they just, the number one thing that's used as a workbench is a plastic picnic table. That's the competition. A plastic picnic table.
Guilty as charged. I have those too. Do you have
I got 4 or 5 of them. I use them.
Do you know how much I got yelled at for using that table? Because like it sits in your garage for like 2 years. No one ever touches it, right?
Yeah.
So the contractor in us, I don't want to let's not go gender roller, but the contractor in us is like, oh, I'm going to use this to stain something. True story. Well, no shit. I guarantee you this is what happens, because it happened to me. The wife comes out. Oh, I was looking for that table. We're going camping this weekend. I need that. So then you clear it off. And then I did this to my table. You're not watching the video, but like mine bowed in.
Yeah.
And then there's all the stain over. And my wife's like, you ruined the table. I'm like, you haven't used it in 2 years. I needed it for the honeydew project that you told me you needed me to finish.
Right. Go to 99-cent store, get some tablecloths, cover up all the crap and stains and spray that I made. Yeah.
This tool that you created, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It saves those conversations, so you're not in the doghouse.
100%.
You know,
100%.
And it's fascinating to me. Like back to the adapter plates. For those that watch the video, hold yours up, Mark. I don't have mine because mine's attached to tools. So I actually took a circle, the top of a you know those benches that have the circle, like the seats that you sit in. I'm like they're full post. The top, the part you sit down on is a circle, or like a lazy Susan.
Oh yeah.
I took the top of a lazy Susan.
That's one of our accessories coming out, lazy Susan.
Yeah, so I put one on there. Didn't spin, but I put my vise on it because I'm always looking for something where I'm trying to turn a wrench. I need that extra support.
Yep.
It gives me that. So how many adapters do you guys have on your table right now that I can buy? Is there 6?
Oh, when you buy a table, you get one. But I mean, I've got.
But you have adapter plates. You have I'm
Right
saying
now
good.
we have 7 accessories. So there's a cord whip to keep your cord from cutting it.
Which I love that.
Yeah.
When I got it, I'll be honest. When I got it, I'm like, "What is this?" And my son, of all of my kids, like the one that seems like the least handiest, I had it up, and he's like, because I was building it out, and my son's like, "It's for the cord, Dad." Like, and he says it so just like that. It's for the cord, Dad. I'm like, oh. So he goes over and like, if you have a kid that has a personality, you got to love him. He goes and picks up the cord to my table. So I was like, see?
Oh, man.
But you have you have that.
Yeah. By the way, you can also put your hose for your vacuums through it. So your hoses aren't dragging around.
I saw some people on the Ticker Talker doing that.
Yeah.
You have the risers, different levels. I don't know what the inches are. I don't remember. Is it 6, 8?
Well, you get a set of four 4-inchers because that for me was, and this is the beauty of another thing that I love about it. I have to love about it. I lived with it for 12 years. I mean, I literally live with this thing. There's one in the living room here. You throw 1 mil over your table. You plug those little riser peg, 4-inch riser pegs on the table. Now, any door you're painting, any window, anything that has an edge to it, now you're getting the edge, and you can get under the edge a little bit. You're not sliding it off to the edge of your picnic table, whatever, but you have access to the complete edge and even underneath a little bit to get all those drip lines and all that, the goop that works its way underneath. So when you flip it, you have all that, those drip balls or whatever, drip lines.
Yeah.
And then the other riser pegs are for the guy Wayne in my videos. He's a metal fabricator, and he's the guy that helped me build the Rocky. Fabulous guy. He said, give me long ones, man. Give me long ones. So if I'm spraying, we were doing his motorcycle fenders.
Yep.
I've got a whole line of auto body shop accessories coming out now where for whatever it's painting, larger things, fenders. You see in the video, we have, they're just random metal things, but it brings it up 16 inches. So it's 18, I think it's 12 and 8 and 4. So you don't have to go really high, but what if you are doing your, bicycle fender or something like that? You just set it right on these points.
Yep.
Nothing else is getting away. You have free area to paint. It's just like the hangman. Everyone walks around their garage and goes, oh shit, I got to spray paint this, plastic bird feeder or whatever the hell it is. And you're walking around looking at your supports in your garage, your scaffolding, your lighting fixtures. It's like every hotel room that says don't hang a hanger from this, from the.
That's because they don't want you hanging those adult swings in the hotel. That's all that means, Mark.
You want to tell me what happened when you did that?
It was for hammock. I needed to relax. Yeah. It was just a hammock swing. That's it.
It's my kid's bouncy chair. I swear to God.
Yes, it was. So real quick, I want to talk about the rest of the products, the accessories, but let's hear from our sponsor real quick, and we'll be back with the rest of the accessories and all the badass shit you can do with the Gridlock Table. Hey everyone, Splash here with Monkey Run Products, your go-to ladder safety and paint accessories. Let's first talk about their paint accessories. If you're going through rollers and just tired of throwing them away or just don't have the time to clean them, they have the new Spin Pro and Spin Pro Mini available. It's an amazing tool to do your 3-inch all the way up to your 18-inch if you have the wherewithal to use those monstrous rollers on the job site. Also, their ladder accessories are amazing. It's like having an extra hand up on the ladder, but safely being able to access all your tools that you need to get the job done. Visit my friends at monkeyrung.com, use my code SPLASH10, and make sure you subscribe to their emails because they have a whole list of tools coming out for 2023 and you do not want to be left behind. All right, we're back. So the accessories, one of my favorite accessories, and it does come with the table when you get it, is the tool tray, the table tool tray.
Yeah.
That's awesome because we all are like pack rats. If you own a true shop, like if you've been blue collar, like I'm sorry, I watch these people on their Instagram pages and I'm calling you assholes out right now. Like your whole shop looks perfect. You really don't do a lot of work. Yeah, fuck you. You don't do a lot of work.
You just took a picture right after you cleaned it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, look, cheese.
Yeah.
No, it's so true though. But with the tray, most companies that say, hey, you got a tray, It's just like one little nook. You took it to the, in my opinion, the ultimate element where the deeper version of the tray is bigger. I don't know the dimensions of the tray, but like there's holes for your, like your screwdrivers or certain tools that you want to do. Then there's an upper tray for it, which you can do like your screws, your bolts, your pack of gum, your candy. Some of us that are food junkies, like, you know, you have it. It makes a great beer holder, you know.
Yeah.
But the concept of it is, I was moving it around. I was working on a project, and I needed that particular spot on the table. I could just lift it up and go put it down, or I actually just put it in the other corner where I did it. I know people are like, well, why don't you just fucking turn the corner around? Well, with this table, I had it set up to a certain way I needed to work on. I was cutting some wood, and I just needed, so the ability of the Gridlock table to really take something that is normally stuck in its place, you've changed. Okay, here you go. Boom, right there. You know?
Yeah.
And I love it. And then for those of us that are unlucky, if we ever do cut the table itself, like what we're calling the Lego looking, there are rails that you can replace. So when I say, like, genuinely, like at the beginning of the show, like, you really thought this through, Mark. Like, you know that some yahoo's going to cut that table. Like, we've all made that mistake. Saw pony, yeah. So the ability to say, hey, look, just there, and it's relatively inexpensive. It really is. You know, I had someone write me on my Instagram page like, hey, do I need the table, or can I buy those rails and just put it on my table that I have? I was like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, buy a table, but like,
yeah.
He was like, well, no, I really like the interchangeable thing. And he sent me a picture, and he has this like 10 by 10 table, but he doesn't have the channels that go through it. He doesn't have the ability to move things. And like, I mean, if you just want to accessorize, you know, so be it. But like, it's, the tools are endless. Like, I sanded on it. I love the sanding ability of it. It's a perfect, I don't know how you come up with the perfect height of a table, but I'm 5'9.5" on a good day, 5'9" on a bad day. So I'm average height for, you know, a person, I guess. I think that's the right way to put that.
You're okay.
But it's like the perfect size. But even for people that are tall, it doesn't seem like you're bending over a lot to do that work.
Right. And if you are, please go get some apple boxes or whatever, jack it up. But yeah, that's the whole point of this one. Is like I said, I had a few prototypes, and I had like a solid table, and all it did was collect sawdust. And then I realized those holes also in the bins, it allows all the sawdust and crap to go through it. I want the sawdust to hit the floor. I don't want it on, you know, I had a shelf below it. It was just covered in sawdust. So, I mean, like I said, I've been working with this for 12 years. I've had 6 different variations, and I've worked with all of them. My best friends still work with the old version because I won't give them a new one. But
if you use my code SPLASH99, friend, you can get a discount. All you listen to this, go to the website, you get $99 off. That's a great deal. And I really appreciate you allowing me to sponsor it like that, because it is. And we'll talk price point in a minute, but continue what you're saying. Like, you have, this is the 6th gen. Is this the final generation, or do you foresee that you're going to be adding different things on, or you're just now where you're going to add the accessories on?
I'm going to be making modifications. I'm always thinking about little things, but the T-tracks on the side, there are 2 T-rails all the way across both sides. And that was a huge change, because now I can, you've seen the travel wheels, 2 wheels that go on the ends. You can walk it and, you know, roll it around like a dolly. I have 38 more accessories coming. Everything from the dry racks you talked about will actually go from the floor, attached to the table, and go up 6 feet high.
Oh, nice.
If you don't want it, disconnect it, folds up, stick it in a tube in the corner.
Yeah.
Those bins, you know, in our factory, they sit there with every channel is filled with one of those bins, and they put all the nuts and bolts in it and every part in it. It's just customizable to anything you want.
Any trade, professional, DIYer.
Yeah.
You see a lot of DIYers that have these like makeshift bullshit tables. And it's funny. So you guys, when I met you guys at NHS, we had some great conversations. I think we hit it off pretty well. Very similar personalities and the love and passion for the tool creators and making things that are better for the contractors. My second company, Splashco Media, we're working with you guys to work with your social media behind the scenes of things a little bit, and we've seen some success with that. And one of the conversations, if you're a contractor, I'm going to speak very frankly to you right now, like 1000% frank to you. If you look at a tool and the first thing you're looking at is the price, you shouldn't be in the fucking trades.
Yeah.
No disrespect. Like, I mean that with the utmost respect. You're in the wrong trade, because with splash painting, when I first started my business, again, this is the first time, I made my business to where the first few paychecks were reinvesting in a sprayer, in paintbrushes, in rollers. I bought a Ryobi table saw, which I still have the miter saw. I actually still have it 10 years later. My Ryobi drill, I've blown through like 7 of those. That's when price matters. Yeah. But if you're building your business and you've already built it and you're continuing, you need the tools that get the job done right. And if you're looking at a price tag, so, when we were talking about, let's a little behind the scenes of what Splashco Media does for companies, like when we're talking about like what kind of discounts we should do, $99 is a lot of money to give someone off of your tool. That comes out of your pocketbook as Gridlock Table.
Yeah.
But you understand the importance of getting your products out to people. You understand that people do like sales. But when I did that first, I did something on my TikTok. It was my TikTok. And someone wrote me like, bro, like that, or they commented. And I wrote them, I said, listen, if $500 is too much for you, go buy 6 saw ponies. He's like, oh, I already did. I said, how many did you lose? Right. He's like, well, I already lost 2 of them. But he didn't buy the same sets, because all you guys that bought saw ponies, you really never buy. You buy 2 DeWalt versions, then you buy 2 Huskies, and then 2 of another brand. Like, why not just have all the same ones? Even myself, I've lost saw ponies. I have a lot of, like, remember those kids back in elementary school? They come to school with 2 different shoes. Well, what happened to your left Converse? I don't know. It's somewhere in a fucking telephone pole or across some electrical wires. And I told him, I says, listen, you've already spent $700 on saw ponies. With this table, it's basically 2 saw ponies stacked on top of each other when it's collapsed. And it's fully functional for everything you need. You don't need to put a hardbound table on. What I mean is, you don't need to stick a 4x8 piece of plywood to start working. You literally fold it out of the box.
Yeah. And
you immediately can start working.
We have, like I said, we have 38 accessories. We have lights. We have bins. We have parts bins. The bin you talk about now is a tool bin. We have ones that are going to fit in there, and you pull out each. So if you're doing screws, breaking down any kind of motor, whatever, you have each individual little bin that shuts, and you pull it out with your fingers. So you get all your parts. You take the whole thing out, put it on a shelf. Yeah, this is an I don't know. Again, I always have difficulty, but it is a tool. It's the foundation for all your tools, so that you can speed things up. Saw ponies are just freaking legs, man. Put a piece of plywood on it. You might as well bring a picnic table.
Well, we can play beer pong table on it.
Well, that's different. We try to act with ours. It's really, if you miss, you miss.
Look at it this. I look at it this way: when you hire employees, you could be hiring a tool, the wrong kind.
Yeah, right.
So, my situation may be different, because throughout my career, I've been very lucky to work with companies, but it's the business I built to demo. I demo tools for companies. I get so many tools sent to me, and I'm like, hey, then I get on a 2-hour phone call. I'm like, listen, this tool sucks. It doesn't function for me. Then I have to take it to the next level. Okay, if I'm a DIYer, is it valuable? Most every tool I see value in. then it's like what I call my platinum. Like when I talk to my people that hire this flashcode brand, is like the platinum level for me is like a tool of the year. You guys are one of my tools of the year for 2023. So I'll tell you now, like, and at the end of the year, we do this big thing and we maybe do some giveaways and whatnot with that. But the tool really, I know that I'm not out on a job site now. I am doing work in my home. I have other things I'm doing. I do content creation work, which is still work. But when my wife and my kids come out and see me working, and my wife, those that followed me long enough knows, like, she's pretty fucking handy. She can, she can carry her shit on a job site. She's like, oh my God, that's awesome. Now we can fit, like, literally, Mark, she's spouted off like these 12 honeydew lists. But to my wife's defense too, she's like, oh, that's awesome. She wants to do some shit on the fireplace. I don't know. I don't ask questions, because usually, word of advice, if you're married, if your spouse tells you they have a project, just nod your head and like, good job, babe. Good job, honey. And walk away. Because she's like, she's like, hey, leave that out. She actually said, like, leave that out. I want to work on this. Yeah. So everybody sees the value in it. So back to the root of the conversation. If $500 is too much, you're in the wrong place. Now, I don't want to take it away from you as the creator, like, well, splash this, that, and the other. I get all those things.
Yeah.
But how many times, like, if I was out painting, I think I told this behind the, when I was at NHS, if I was out on a job site, I would set this up every job site. I have my paintbrushes there. Like, I had a trailer. But not every time, like, a lot of us pull stuff out of the trailer. Like, usually every job site, you have a designated space. If you're a smart contractor, you tell the homeowner or the business, whether it's commercial or residential, you're like, hey, I need this space, know? And I mean, for example, we were doing some work for the state of Utah, and we had 9 buildings. Every building we had to make a space, but every building we had to find tables. They were literally looking for us. And then the conversation is like, oh, hey, can you cover that up? That we just had that restained. I wouldn't have to with this table.
Right.
And then what you're saying now, if I'm hearing this right, with all the adapters, like, if you're on a job site, usually you're there for longer than 2 days. So setting up something is very important to the job site. Knowing where everything is saves you money. So if you have these new adapters that are coming out, that basically kind of, you put your tools and there's a cover on it, you remove it, you put it on the table, like, that's awesome. Spray tips. I mean, you're talking about spraying cabinets. Like, I get excited, it's like, fuck yeah, let's get to work. Like, let me get this out there and go. And the spray booth for painters right now, it's really cool. You can cover the table, you can hang it. I did a video in my garage recently showing some, how that works. It's very universal. It holds the weight, it supports it. And if you don't want to spray standing up, which, I created my own Lazy Susan for it, but if you're going to have one out, awesome. But you have that thing that you can just spray and go, and then move it to a dry rack. And this, like you said, you're building that dry rack pretty soon. Like, how much more better is that? So your tools at that platinum level of, like, every profession can use it. Welders, framers, carpenters, drywallers. I mean, think of the drywallers that are sitting there cutting the drywall, or making their little corner bullshit and
cutting out all your socket boxes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Carpenters, hell, even tractor supply people, like people that are on a farm. Think of all the things that
RVers.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that.
You're dragging around with an RV. We're gonna have a whole nother. We've got Gridlock Table RV.com. We're going to have all the cookery, tailgating, anything you can clip onto this table, heating trays, warming trays, keg holders, all that. You can use it while you're camping and bring it out, set up all your cooking stuff. You're not going to knock it over. And then if you need to work on your RV or cut a sheet or do some work, you disconnect it and you hook on whatever you need it for. I mean, the main thing was, and we've been talking to a lot of vocational schools, which makes me really proud, because the thing that really ticks me off is vocational schools. You go to this big shop and they've got all these giant countertops, and here's how to use these hand tools. And everybody's got hand tools. The average guy's got a drill and a saw and blah, blah, blah. but it's not. It's where you do it. When they say, "All right, go make something," you're like, "Where do I do this, man? What do I set up? Get the picnic table, the ping pong table, or sawhorses are stupid. I mean, if you're cutting off the last eighth, great, good for you. But if you cut in the middle, they're useless. They're just legs. To compare it to that is like comparing, your iPhone to a freaking hello cranking crank phone. It's not the same. It's the foundation where you go, all right, set up that table. Now I can build whatever the hell it is I'm going to build. It's the foundation to build on. And that's where we separate ourselves from workbench or whatever they call that. I mean, there literally isn't a category for what we invented. When I go to Home Depot or whatever, they don't have a category for this. They're like, well, you're a table. No, I'm not. It's rails. It's like a ladder sideways.
Hey,
well, your workbench. Workbenches on all those are just flat surfaces. Maybe they put cabinets under it. That's just a slab. It could be a door. It could be anything. This is a foundation to build on, and you can hang it on the wall, set it up, and as you've done in 2 minutes, and actually build whatever the hell you want on the table. It helps you build it.
You know what? If Hershey can make a candy bar called a whatchamacallit, they can make a category for whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I mean, it's very universal because I when I think about a store layout, we're gonna deeper conversation for those that don't create tools. But like when you think about creating a tool, one of the very first things that comes into, or when you're talking to a company that Prototype House, when you're talking to a company that's going to help you build out a product, one of the first questions asked you is like, who's your customer and where's your product going to go in a store?
Yeah.
So you all do have that unique thing. In the development of your product, I have one complaint. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
It's because you're in LA. You're probably a Rams fan. It's like yellow and blue. I do like those colors, but being a Raiders fan, like I need a silver and black one. Like, come on. But no, I actually know.
We're just disconnected. I can't hear you.
Hello. Oh, hello. I'm going through a tunnel here. No, I know. I do actually like the color. I just have to give you shit. But the ease of it, like go watch my open box video, guys. Like go look at the open box video. You gave away some tables this week. That was awesome to see that you're hitting the social media. So please, everyone, go follow Gridlock Table on their Instagram, on their TikTok, on their YouTube, and their Facebook pages. You'll see me. I've done a little bit of videos for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see some other content creators doing some, not even fuck the content creators. You're going to see a lot of craftsmen, people using these tools. They're going to be there. So be the first to the game. Get out there and purchase it. It's at the website is
gridlocktable.com.
Gridlocktable.com. You have the accessories. Use my code SPLASH90 or SPLASH. You get $99 off. It's going to save you. So really quick on the open box, I know people are going to go watch it, but you get one adapter table or one adapter plate. You get the
4 riser pegs.
The 4 riser pegs. You get the tray.
Yep.
Right. And then do you get the cord holder or is that separate? Okay.
I was 50-50 on that because so many people use cordless now.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to say, if you do go to our YouTube channel, and this will really exemplify what the concept is, I put a full shop inside of a 2001 Mini Cooper S. That's the small Mini Cooper. And I have a full shop, router table, drill press, every tool I need, all my toolbox, everything in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
Who can put a whole shop, usable shop, and within 4 minutes, we had a full shop set up coming out of a Mini Cooper. So that doesn't tell you what you're capable of, just what your base of what you're capable of doing.
Yeah. No, it speaks to, it's a testament to that. Like, one thing I'd like to see, my wife and I, so when my wife sees tools that I'm using, she always has a million questions, and it's always that, which I love and appreciate. I love that different perspective of things.
Yeah.
She was talking to me. She's like, well, what if you had a double? I don't know what project she was thinking of. She always has these weird projects she wants to do. She was like, what if you had a double adapter table, like plate? I'm like, well, you just take 2 of them and make it.
Yeah.
But then she did go to your YouTube page, or was it, I don't know. She went to your social media.
You shot me at the show. You shot that at the show.
Yeah, that's what it was. She says, why is his cut underneath? Why did he cut his adapter plate in half? So I wanted to talk to you about that because when I got my table, I ordered some extra adapter plates. I think it's, if you buy the table, guys, spend the extra. Let me see. They're 25 bucks, dude.
Yeah.
You spend that at McDonald's now. So
That's what I always say.
so you save yourself the 3 pounds and
It's a
heartburn
pizza.
and Tums.
It's a pizza these days.
Yeah, fuck, man. Don't get me started on food.
I
Like,
know. I feel so old when I do that. In my day, I get a pizza for $8. I'm at Domino's every other night now because of my kids. But yeah, it's like,
yeah,
give me a break.
yeah. But the
adapter plate, you were going to say.
you cut it in half.
Yeah, or quarters.
Oh, you did cut it in quarters?
Yeah, when I used the track plate from Craig, I just cut it in quarters, and then all you do is you put it wherever you want. You could do half of your table as a solid surface or a track plate, and the other half for tools. So you just decide what you want to put on it. And if you need it to be wider, you cut it in quarters. You lay it out, lay your each end of the adapter plate where it is. Put your track plate, whatever you want, on it. Go underneath. Take a marker, mark your holes, flip it over.
No, if you guys aren't watching, go watch this part of the video. We're at like 51 minutes. Hold your adapter plate up. On the back side of your adapter plate, you actually have squared lines off.
Yeah.
So you know where those are going to cut.
Yeah, there.
Yep.
Right here.
You have those spots. So like I said, it's not rare anymore. What is really great about you, Mark, and the people behind you that have built this and gotten here about it is like, there was no, to be cliche, there was no stone unturned. Like, you really thought it, which really shows like you've been that contractor. You know the bullshit that happens. You've seen it all. You know, and even when you do see shit, you probably are still like, well, fucking nothing surprises me. So it's very well thought through.
I just have to tell you, we have the super yacht. I met a guy that builds super yachts. And he's like, dude,
what is a super yacht?
It's over 100 feet, whatever.
Are we gonna have a house party?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, This guy builds the big monsters up in Washington. And he said, I want one of these on every single one of my boats because literally guys come on to work and they're taking these ridiculously expensive mahogany tables and throwing moving blankets on it and working. He says they're working on $10,000, $15,000 tables to do repairs. Whereas I could hang this in the engine room and have a complete shop right there in the engine room with this super yacht and get everything done that needs to be done, hang it, put it away.
Yeah.
So there's more and more every day. I get more and more ideas and people suggesting things, but that's reality of it. You don't have to walk into the space and go, "Hey, give me your kitchen table. I'm gonna put some cardboard down." And
I think that, like, as a contractor, let's be honest, we've probably all, in hindsight now, look back at like the weird things we've asked customers. Like I've asked customers that, like, hey, can I use this space?
Right.
Or the customer's like, hey, you want to use my husband's ladder? He divorced me and took the dog, but I kept his ladder. It's here. It's like, have the tools to do the job right for yourself. And you'll definitely see a lot more success in that. Mark, you guys have a great table, and the bigger testament to everything is that you are continually looking. I'm stumbling through my words. What happens when I wake up at 2:30 in the morning? You're continually working on making a progressive table. Yeah. So to have that progressiveness, like Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, I know some of you peeps listen to my show. I know you do. You told me, like, get these on your shelves. This is a consumer. I mean, I look at the gardeners. Look at the people that garden.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of open space underneath your table. If you're planting a garden, like, I'm a little green thumb. I got a little bit of a green thumb. So I already know, like, I think that was one of the things that my wife was talking about. She's like, hey, we were talking about this week about building our garden out once the snow all melts here in Utah. I was like, yeah, we'll just pull the table out and, we can work and build it and not have to put it away at night, not have to worry about, like, I mean, how many times have we done a project and it's like, all right, fucking Scooter, let's load up the table, let's fold up. It's like, No, we can leave it out. I don't know who Scooter is, but it sounds like a good name. You know, you have that ability to grow through it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I love the table. I mean, like I said, you were one of the busiest tables at the show. You know, I know you guys are going to have some other cool things coming out, and I'm excited to see the accessories. Are you sold right now in any stores currently, or everything is online?
By the way,
right
we did, you know, years ago when I first had a first prototype, we won product of the year from this old house. And this year we got like influencers product of the year, whatever the hell that's worth. I like you're the man. You were the one that came up to me. First I thought, well, this guy might be stealing our beer or something by the way you were dressed. But then you came up so hardcore and we're so positive. It was one of the best parts of the show, just your energy. And I'm so glad to be part of, you know, the blue collar tribe here, man. It's fantastic. But yeah, we just got on Tractor Supply. It took a whole year to do all the back end stuff. So tractorsupply.com, woodcraft.com, and our Amazon store, which now is I don't know what they call it. I forgot the rating, but you know, they go through your trademarks, your patents and everything to make sure that you're not ripping anybody off. And we do a lot of sales through Amazon. And then, I will be, there's a show called Make 48. And I didn't spend on PBS for 5 years, Make 48. And now they're expanding to Roku and a bunch of other channels. And it's a 4-episode, I mean, it's a whole season, but every 4 episodes, people come in, they invent something, they talk to patent attorneys, they have to create it, build it, they got CNC machines and all that. And we are now officially a sponsor.
Fucking awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, met him right after you. And the guy's like, dude, we want you on our show. So I'll be shooting the Nationals in March and I'll be a Tech Pro. And then all next year, all season 7, we'll have our tables on there. So that was a huge plus too. That was like, you know, a real vote of confidence.
And this is, speaking of tech schools, like first and foremost, Mark, that's fucking awesome. That makes me like truly excited to see. And that is what the National Hardware Show is. It really is. That was your first hardware show. Was this your first or second show?
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly,
no, I'm just saying for the National Hardware Show. Was that your first one?
I went last year, and I don't know if you were there. I mean, I think there's like 100 people, and that's the only 2 people we met were Tractor Supply and Woodcraft, and they signed us instantly. Yeah. Besides that, we ran out the door on the 3rd day. You know, we were like, let's get out of here. It was just dead.
Yeah, and I appreciate you knowing my energy when I come up. I get that a lot from people. They're like, my wife tries to warn me, and the only analogy she says, she's like, remember that Disney show where the whole show they don't want to give the squirrel a Mountain Dew? Like the squirrel just wants the Mountain Dew. I'm like, yeah, I know what show. I didn't even know the name of the show. She's like, you're the squirrel. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you have so much energy, you don't know how to handle it. I'm like, but I'm real. Like, wouldn't you rather have that?
Yeah.
You know? And I get it. I do appreciate I did have someone at the show, like night 2, I ran into him at the casino. They're like, dude, what did you eat this morning? Like, how much coffee did you have? I'm like, but I tell people, like, I love what I do. Yeah. I love the trades. I love love. Like, I enjoy, like, I don't wake up on a Monday having the Mondays.
Oh God, no.
You know, I wake up every day like, okay, what the fuck is going to be exciting today? And it's a mindset and bullshit, you know, but like,
life's all attitude, man. You got to create your own positive energy, period. Yeah. You decide if it's a sucky day or great day. You do it masterfully. You came at me, I was like, I'm sure. What cult are you in? I'll join it. I'll play the guitar, whatever.
Yeah. So Mark, that's it. So I'm starting a business called Topless Painting. I hired a bunch of busty women to go in and give bids, and then I need you to go in and do the painting, where we don't do ceilings, but you paint with your shirt off. That's why we call it Topless Painting. Okay. No, it's good.
Okay, I will.
It makes me excited to know that you guys are out there. Not everything's positive at creating a tool. What was the biggest hurdle? Like, as for the inventors that listen to the show, what's the biggest hurdle you've had?
All right. Number 1, this is number 1 times 1,000.
Okay.
People that work in the trades don't generally have equity or money to invest in a company, period. People that are into investment and investment capital and are on Wall Street, or that's all they do, don't even know what a screwdriver is. So
No.
I've literally sat down with billionaires and they go, I don't even know what you're talking about. This is a great looking thing, but I don't even know what it is. I don't understand what it is. They understand real estate, or they'll invest in software, even though they have no idea about software. And they've lost tens of billions over the last 10 years. But they're like, are you the next Facebook? That's all they know. So it's 100% the investor. You've got to find investors that at least are handy, or at least, build or understand what the product is. Because if they don't, just imagine if you were, a billionaire and somebody walked in and said, hey, I make this great sewing machine. You'd be like, I don't really know anything about sewing machines, man. I can't get into this. It's the same thing with this. And it's a huge separation. That's been the hardest part I've had. And my first investor was a complete waste of time, because they're like, I don't know, don't even understand what it is. So it's that separation. That's the hardest part. You've got to find people with investment capital that understand tools, and those are few and far between.
Do you see, though, when you've talked to stores like Tractor Supply, we'll put them in, it's not one conversation, and that's one thing I hear from the inventors of products is like, why can't I just have that conversation? And I tell people, like, people don't necessarily buy the tool because they think it's going to work. They're buying you. They're buying you as a person.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't say this to have a plug for what I do for companies behind the closed door.
Yeah.
But in the last 12 months, I've helped a numerous amount of companies grow their business. I've helped a numerous amount of companies like show what it's like to be on social media, where you can sell, who your market is, and those little things. Does it always work? No. Does it work a lot of the times? Yeah. But at the end of the day, if someone's going to buy your product, Tractor Supply, they're buying you.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I do not mean this with the absolute love of loving all humans. I do not mean this in any derogatory way towards any human. Sometimes you just can't do it. You don't know how to go to that boardroom table, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm talking 1950s here, but like in today's world, you don't know how to pick up that phone and tell Tractor Supply, you didn't do this. And I know this from your personality, but when I go to these shows, some of the things I see is like, so day one of the National Hardware Show, I really primarily talk to the new inventors. But every person, when they find out what I do, they want to sell me from the minute of the thing to the very end, how they're going to make it. And I can tell by their personality, like if you get to talk to the Tractor Supply company, you've lost them 2 minutes into the conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously I know you as I could, I watch people, like, I know that sounds weird, but like I watch people from afar. I stand next to a pretty boy in a paisley shirt, Andy, and I watch, and I'm observing, and I can tell a lot. So when I approach a booth, I kind of know what energy I need to match, but I've told people, like, hey, hire a company. Yes, this is the plug. Like, hire Splashco Media. If you aren't getting into the places, it's okay. And I wonder how you feel about this. Obviously, you've done it because you're in Tractor Supply now. But like, how important is that? Like, if you didn't have that personality.
Oh, please, dude, you're my man.
Like,
my social media, I suck at it. I just haven't had time for it, and
it's a whole nother job.
I'm a mature individual.
You are mature.
Anyone notices, when it comes to that, I just haven't had. It's like video games, man. My hands shake. I have a tremor. I can't play with my kids. It's unfortunate, but I'm out of that league, and the learning curve takes a while, and you got to have somebody, like you. I mean, Splash. That's why we were like, this is our man, because your energy and your desire to do it and your knowledge, that's everything today. And the biggest thing I saw at the show, and I could have easily picked out 10 people that should have talked to you, or I would say, hey, you gotta talk to Splash here, man. They have desperation. They reek of desperation.
Yeah.
Their stories are sad. And like, oh, if I could just get rid of them. I'm like, dude, you immediately lost me with this air of, can you help me? I'm like, that's not going to help you at all. Any company that, you show your desperation or your need, that's a bad cologne, man.
And
you
it's
come in
not,
there fired up and,
we don't mean this from disrespect. It's not disrespectful, but it's this reek of, you said it, that's right, desperation. And there's some other companies like you, and there are some other companies I'm working with behind the scenes. Because we offer, for those that are interested, I do offer different packages. I offer different things for companies. It is hard being the loving person I am. It is hard, and I will share this story without telling anybody who it is, because if you're at the hardware show, you would know exactly who it is.
Okay,
but
we do.
I had to tell someone. I said, "Listen, you're trying too hard." We had a phone conversation just like we did after the show. We had a phone. I'm gonna give. I mean, let's be honest. I'm here to make money. That's why I created Splash Comedia. So I'll give, and I've never actually talked about this on any of my podcasts. So this isn't about me, but it's about growing within Tool Inventors Help. Is that I had to tell this person very straightforward, like, listen, you have a very, very dormant personality. That's why you've been to this show 7 times and have not walked out with any deals.
I knew that was. Yeah.
And I said, your social media is non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that I can sell you 1 million units. I mean, I have for some companies, but that's very few and far between. I have to get really lucky on TikTok. It's like the craps table. I don't know what I'm going to roll or what my next friend's going to roll. But what I can tell you is this. If you have sat at a table with a company twice and haven't closed the deal, or you're making progress, bring in a third party like Splash Comedia.
Yeah.
I have a few other people that work behind the scenes with me that we make phone calls. We do certain things because, again, with like the investor talk, you are selling yourself. It's not necessarily, they don't give a fuck about, look at Shark Tank. And I know that Shark Tank to me is not the pinnacle. Nothing against them.
No, I think it's a tad disrespectful a lot of times to inventor, but some people, that's what they need.
I do, and they do, and like there's 2 companies that come to my mind, and the very first thing that they said to me. Now, I do have a private investment group that works for Splashco. We have some partners. They look to buy tools, or we look to license them within that organization of Splashco Media. We have these 2 companies that the very first thing they said to me is, well, we were on Shark Tank. The minute I hear that, my thought comes to 2 things. One, why are you still here?
Yes.
Second, how did you fuck it up?
Yep.
And
then I see that freaking flyer. We were on Shark Tank. I'm like, why are you at the New Inventor show then?
And it's not to be disrespectful. And again, it truly is not. I'm just speaking of, again, I'm building my business on it. It's my podcast. I get to talk whatever the fuck I want. But like, at the end of the day, like, I'll back it up a little bit. As a paint contractor, I have learned since I let go of all my employees and fire them and let them go, whatever you want to say it was.
Yeah.
When I dissembled Splash Painting, I'd still own it. We're still licensed, all that good shit. I realized that I'm not the best manager of other humans. I have 3 dogs. I have 3 awesome fucking kids and 1 wife, and then my 6 personalities. I can't manage other people outside of that.
Yeah.
But now that I know that, I have learned I'm not an octopus. You inventors, there are some of you, Mark, you're one of them. I'll use another company. They were not at the show, but they are my sponsor, Monkey Rung. Monkey Rung is a perfect example of this conversation. Great products. He just hired on one of my dear friends, Paul Kelly, as the CEO, president of Monkey Rung. Within him hiring that, Paul got Monkey Rung into multiple stores. Their social media growth has grown. a little bit because of me. I'm helping them. They're my sponsor, obviously. He's brought on 3 new tools in the first 90 days, and he's selling out of the products now. And now they have 6 more products coming in.
Mm-hmm.
This is just to say, listen, inventors, you do a great job.
Yeah.
But you can't hold every staple. This company was not at the show. I think they're going to be next year. They were on the podcast earlier. They'll be released sometime. This podcast can be released before this. It's a company called Talent Tools. He's great, but he reminds me a lot of you, Mark. He's a salesman. He knows how to mirror people's personalities,
Mm-hmm.
And he's outselling his tool. He sells the Studmaster. It's a great product. If you're a framer, it's a great product. It's honestly a product that is very simple when you look at it. Like, you look at it, if you're a framer, if you're not a framer, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Then it's not your product.
Yeah.
But he has a personality. But he and I have even talked about this. Like,
is this it? Oh, that's the Rockland one. Never mind. Sorry.
No, this is theirs.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yep.
So, well, he wasn't at the show, but he's all over social media. But like,
yeah, I've seen it.
It's a great product.
Yeah.
But the moral of this conversation is like, inventors, stop kicking yourself. It's okay to hire someone. It doesn't need to be me, because you may not like my personality, and I'm okay with that. I would like an opportunity to earn your business, but like, at the end of the day, it's okay to have someone else be your voice. And I think that maybe you feel this way because I think you've noticed it's like these inventors feel like, well, you're going to take away from me. No one's taking away from you. Nobody is.
Share. You talk about love and share, man. Just find people you trust. I instantly trusted you. I knew where your energy was coming from. I think the biggest problem you and I have is I don't communicate or let you know that I'm around enough. You ask me a question. I have so much faith in you that I don't have to call you every day. I don't question you. I just figure out what you're doing, and you want to have a little detail to go over. I don't worry about you for a second. I don't wake up and go, "What's Splash doing? Oh my God, what was?" I don't even give it a second thought. By the way, I'm not the CEO of my own company. I'm the owner. But you met Gary. Gary's my CEO because he's ran businesses his whole life. He does spreadsheets. He's smart as hell. He's smart.
What's a spreadsheet?
Right, exactly.
I thought that was a drink I ordered at the strip club.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the $200 one. It was just for her.
Yeah. It was pink.
Was a spreadsheet.
It was pink and had some glitter. I'm like, sold.
Yours was the bud.
Sign me up.
Yours was a $20 bud. Hers was a $200 spreadsheet drink. And she probably does a spreadsheet.
If I ordered a bar, I'd have a drink called the spreadsheet.
Yeah, right.
But no, like,
Gary's a great guy, and I just, I trust him with, like a brother. He does that stuff, and I don't have to think about it because I suck at it. Yeah. You do what you do because you're damn good at it. So I don't have to worry about it. You want people to find the best people and people you connect with and trust, like I do with you, and then let them do their thing, man, and stay out of their way. Yeah. That's it. Stay out of the way.
It's really hard. Like, as a business owner, I was in my way.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is all in like, wow, if I open my business, let's travel down this road for a minute, Mark. I'm not going to, but if I opened up my paint business today, if, like, God forbid, my wife came downstairs and says, fuck it, I'm done white collar bullshit. We're going to open up the paint company. I guarantee you it would look 85% different. The 15% difference that would maintain the same would be, I would at least be handling the bids and the marketing. Because on average, I was averaging bidding out. There's a difference. Like, I'm not that contractor like, oh, I made $1 million in sales. No, you didn't, fucker. Like, stop lying. Stop lying. But we were averaging $40,000 a month in just bids.
Right.
Which means to the contractor, let me explain this. Which means is I had 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes of FaceTime with someone. I gave them a bid and said, here's what it is. Those totals were 40,000. Now, if I didn't have to babysit grown men and women on a job site, I could have made that 6 figures a month.
Yeah.
My closing rate on that was 60%. So for the years of my business, my closing average was 60%. That's pretty fucking good.
That's really
which means that 60% of people liked what they saw.
Yeah.
you know. Moral of that is this. I know now that if I wanted to be successful where I never stepped on a job site, I would hire someone to do all my to manage the teams. I would hire someone to manage the trucks. I'd hire someone to close the jobs out. I would let other people, and you said this is weird because I recorded a podcast earlier today. Some people a little behind the scenes with Splash. Like, I have 3 podcasts I'm recording today. This is the second one. So some days I'm just in studio all fucking day long.
I don't feel that special now.
You are special. We talked about the spreadsheet. But he said to me, he says, I had to bring people on to make me continue to grow.
Yeah.
And you have to. But men and women, like, stop thinking like we're not taking away from you. We're actually adding to you.
Yeah.
I'm a representative of the brand, you know. I'm a representative of the brand Gridlock when I'm talking about you, you know, Monkey Rung. I'm a representative of Monkey Rung. I'm telling people like, hey, I have trusted this tool. I tested it. I know it works. In the Inventor space, I don't understand sometimes, because I actually had talked to an Inventor for 2 years. We got nowhere. I never understood. And every time I would just tell him, and I had to be honest. I'm like, bro, you're just too much.
Yeah.
Like, not to be an asshole, but like, so one of the things I do is Splash Co Media, and you and I have this conversation because it's kind of a staple that I tell people, like, when I work with companies, like, hey, one of the most important things is how you comment on your posts. If you're getting comments, you can't take it personal, as much as it is personal. It is, but you can't take it personal when Johnny Appleseed from Hawaii is like, oh, that tool fucking sucks. You don't know. No, guess what? What that person is saying to you is, you have bigger balls than I did, and you created the same tool that I thought about doing. Fuck you. That's all that is saying.
Yeah, they say 68% of the comments you get are going to be negative because people just want to bitch. It's envy, it's whatever, it's motivating them, but they don't take the time to go, what's really fantastic? I think you've come up with something wonderful. Good luck. Nobody does that. They
do you
go,
know the last time somebody left me a positive message?
That's right.
It was yesterday, but I'm a social media whore. I whore myself out on social media.
That's why we're partners, man. I stay away from it.
But it's just this knowledge. So I know you got to run. I know you got a busy day. Maybe we can connect at another trade show, or maybe I'll just come to California by the beach and work for you. Is there any news you want to give our listeners, or any, we mentioned the website, gridlocktable.com.
We're going to be giving away some more tables, 2 tables, right? We bring that up.
You want to give away 2 tables?
I think we should do that.
Fuck yeah. All right. I'm giving away. We'll give them away. So stay tuned. If you're listening to this, go watch
I want people to use it. I want them to talk about it. I want them to see it. And you look, I've got the nervous system of a Chihuahua. I can't rip anybody off. I just got a call from a guy who broke one leg, and he showed me. I said, send me pictures, and I sent him a whole new table. I was so upset. I mean, it hurts me in my heart. I'm like, I'm sorry how this happened. I want to find out why.
You'd rather have your wife divorce you than hear broken tables.
No, not if you knew my wife. My wife does. My wife's, not to brag, but she is. She's amazing. She's a producer. She produces all the U.S. Golf Open and all that stuff. Her spreadsheets are 50 miles long. She can do them in 5 minutes. That's why we're together. She's like, it's sick. She looks at my stuff and like, there.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Oh my God. So that's so funny. So I do appreciate it. I'll be giving away the Gridlock tables on my page, but I'll have some fun things with it. We'll announce that listening. But back to the spreadsheet. So as I've been more in the office, my wife, I emailed my wife, and the email she sent back was hilarious. Who did you pay to do your spreadsheet? Who fucking typed this up for you? I'm like, I didn't. She's like, you didn't do this. I know it. I felt like that student in high school, like
yeah,
the hot teacher's like, I know you cheated. I know you cheated, Splash. What did you do? And I'm like, babe, there's this really cool thing called AI that I've been using lately.
oh, I gotta
And
get on that.
dude, I gotta tell you, man. Real quick before you run, AI is an amazing product. You got to be a little computer nerdy to understand it,
Yeah.
but ultimately, I'm actually gonna be doing a podcast about it, just myself in a room in a corner, twiddling my thumbs, talking about it because it's nerdy. But AI is really great for marketing
You mean the
aspects.
chat AI, the new one?
Yep. Yeah. So I actually use they're not my sponsor, but I feel like I have to say that I use a company called Tiny Wow. It's free. It's
Okay.
like it's a $5 donation, but ultimately, like
Pick it up.
if you're in the social media world or you're trying to write a paper, you can write like 70 to 80 keywords. It lets you do it.
Okay.
The more you tell it what you want to do, it actually writes full paragraphs. It's written some of my YouTube posts, some of my TikTok posts, some companies that I work with. I've utilized that program to like write creativeness because social media is such this devil's advocate. Some days you can like just kill it. I do this video every once in a while. I'm going to give away a secret, but use the secret. If you use the Mario Brothers, and I'm not shitting you, if you use the original Mario Brothers theme song to a video and take your voice out of it, it like, I swear it like brings back childhood trauma of your mom and dad being like, get off of it. So like people just watch it over and over and over.
That's a good
and
point.
it does well.
Yeah.
But when you add comments to it, social media is funny. We will tell ourselves that we don't like to be told what to do. But if I did a post that said, hey, go buy this, percentages of people start to consider. They see it again. It's a pattern. We're all used to it. I mean, at the end of the day, even myself, you know, the football game says to go have a beer during halftime. Well, I better go have a fucking beer. It's going to make the rest of the three quarters, the third and fourth quarter better because I'm a Raiders fan. They're probably going to lose. So
or somebody's going to get shot.
No, come on. They're not that bad.
They're in Vegas. They're better, but
yeah, they're not that bad. Well, Mark, I appreciate it. It's been a fucking pleasure. I'm loving the tool. You know, it was great to meet you at the National Hardware Show. Let us know when you're doing the Make 48. We'll put it on the page as well. Cool. And hey, I know that you sent me some Gridlock shirts. So if you're a listener and you want one of these cool shirts, DM me. I have a few around. I'll send them to you. But use my code SPLASH99. You get or not SPLASH99. Use my code SPLASH. You get $99 off of the table and accessories. Honestly, if it were me buying my second table, I'd buy the table and get 3 adapter plates. I think that like 3 is a perfect number.
I agree.
Because most of us have certain things. I'm excited to see the new trays, though. When are those coming out?
20% off, by the way. 20%. It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
When stores say, oh, we'll pay for the tax, I'm like, that's 8% or 6% or 10% California. So what? Like that's a 20% off. All these things I've got 38 right now in development. So it's just a matter of moving product right now and you know, changing my energy to that. But they're all I've developed almost all of them. They're in my head or on paper.
Nice.
That's why I need people like you so I can stop the business or Gary and my CEO and not do that so I can be creative and do the creative part of it.
Use your strengths. And as I end my podcast and wrap it up here with Mark, I'll just say this. Remember, blue collar men and women, we make the world turn. When you're out in public, say hi, buy a meal, change someone's energy. And I'm glad you said that. Like, be that person to change. This is our world. We're the ones that created as blue collars. I think it's a lot of our responsibility, even though we don't want it, to bring that positivity back. You're getting a lot of old timers that are graduating and retiring right now from the trades. There's a lot more open positions. There's a lot more businesses to be bought. There's a lot of space for you. So buy the right tools, continue your trades and your love and passion. But when you're in the world, getting gas, buying soda, getting lunch, say hi to the young kids, say hi to the wives and husbands that are out there that you see, and overall, just be that badass blue collar person you are. So,
And don't be shy to ask for the amount of money you deserve.
Yeah.
People's houses are worth $1 million. In my neighborhood, any tear down is worth $2 million. I mean, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath right down the street is $2 million. But when you go to do a job, they're like, well, how much are you? Well, how much? I was like, you have a $2 million worth of equity here. $2 million. But you want, my guys, just like, you want me to repair this or build this for $25 an hour, $40 an hour?
no.
It makes no freaking sense. It's time for the blue collar world to step up and say, no, I'm actually the one that's taking care of your equity. I'm the one that's helping you preserve it and creating more equity as we manage your properties or whatever. So feel free to set your price fairly and in this economy to say, no, I want $50, $60, $70 an hour, wherever neighborhood you live in. But so many people don't know that trade. So they have to find someone else. Well, now you're desired, you're needed.
Yeah. Know your value. Know your fucking
exactly.
value.
Learn your
And
trade
don't be
and know your
afraid.
value.
If they say no, guess what? They're not your customer. And that
Right.
no just means that someone else is. And I'll guarantee you about 50% of those people that tell you no will be calling you back because
Yeah.
some asshole who said they would do it for $20
Yeah.
fucked it up because they don't have your skill set.
I'm leaving right now to go look at a friend's job. It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Happened.
It's a sad story, and it's continual throughout the trades.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this. I was $75 an hour. If I came to your house, it was $75 an hour, and I'd get people to push back. Like, listen, you don't know all the things I know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need to know. I don't ask you. I don't ask you what you do.
Right.
I don't get in your personal business.
Right.
You don't get to go to Walmart or Lowe's. Let's go Home Depot. You don't get to go to fucking Home Depot and be like, hey, I want that gridlock table. Can I get it for $500? No, that's the fucking price of it. Like, this isn't, I know that like there's generations that want to change that mindset. As the blue collar tribe, like, we don't live in tribal societies anymore. That was a tribal mentality back in the day. So even though I am called blue collar tribe, you have to understand that like this tribe is a safe space for you to build your confidence up and build your value.
Yeah.
But building your value, I listened to this podcast. No, it was a TikTok video, but it was from a podcast I sent over to go watch it. This tattoo artist charges $100,000 a day.
Shit.
You laugh, but he puts you on anesthesia. He has 5 people with him, and you get tattooed.
What are you tattooing the inside of my mouth? Let me give you a break. That's
Maybe
crazy.
he's adding on inches, but he's just tattooing you, and he's getting the money.
Yeah. You tell people what you're worth, and if they don't want to pay it, my thing. But on the other side of that is, if you want to learn how to do it yourself, buy the right tools and go learn to do it yourself. And if it's something small, go to Harbor Freight and buy a cheap grinder or cheap tools, one use, 2 use tools, $30. Learn how to do it, throw them away. Maybe you do it, maybe you don't want to do it, or you start small. But feel free to learn how to do these things yourself. It's pathetic when I have tenants that don't know how to screw in a light bulb, literally. I just had to tell you this. The guy calls me at my tenant. He says, I can't figure out the cover on this light. So I went all the way over to my places up in Hollywood Hills that I rent, and I just took it off. I said, this is called a light cover. There's the light bulb. And he goes, oh, how do you get that out? I'm like, here's the light bulb. Like, dude. And his wife's standing there looking at me. I'm like, I don't know why you married this guy, man. He literally can't screw in a light bulb. He didn't know how to cover. Learn the basics. It's not that hard, and have fun with it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You want a good day? Go to Home Depot on a weekend. I don't know how many divorces have started at Home Depot.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Back in the day, I met a few girls there too, and a few girlfriends I met. I had no idea. I got it.
So what you're saying is, if you owned a Home Depot, you should have a hotel and a courthouse right next to him, like in between.
Yeah, pretty much.
Make your decision where you're gonna go. All right, Mark, man. Well, much love to you. Let's listen to our sponsor, Trep. Remember, be a good human out there. And I'll be giving away 2 tables, evidently. So stay tuned. We'll be giving those away. And thank you so much, Mark. We're out. No handouts, just work. That is the motto of blue collars across the world. You and me alike, we understand what it is to get off a job site, look all dirty, getting ready to go out to dinner, trying to find some clothes that still represent that we are blue collar to the bone. Well, visit my friends at Trep Wear. That's TREP wear.com. What is Trep, you ask? It stands for the real everyday people. That's you. That's you every day. You are real. You are an everyday human being that just loves and has passion about what you do. Well, wear it pridefully on your shirts, on your shorts, on your jackets, and on your baseball hats. Visit my friends at trepwear.com and use my code SPLASH25, get 25% off, and be part of the real everyday people of the blue collar world.